How do you do? It would be a little unkind to present this picture without just a word of friendly warning. I think it will thrill you. It may shock you. It might even horrify you. So if any of you feel that you do not care to subject your nerves to such a strain, now is your chance to, well, we've warned you.
And we're live. We are back once again for another Wyatt Wednesday, Wyatt's Metal Podcast. Another fucking day at work, another bullshit, boring day at school, whatever you would like to call it, or just your excuse to turn in to see Rocket, the little metal elitist here judging everybody. Maybe he'll stay for the entire stream this time again. What is up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. Good to see everyone. Hope you're having a good week. Hope you had some metal stuff going on. If not, metal stuff coming up soon. I know October is always quite a big month for metal stuff. I just got my tickets for Judas Priest and Alice Cooper and COC next month. That is going to be sick. What else is going on? Oh, my band played the Bleed for the Cause show that I've been promoting on here, the Wrestling and Metal charity event And it was a lot of fun. Man, I got videos from it too, so I figure probably at the end of this stream, I'll show some of the videos of that because I got the performance filmed and then some of the wrestling. That shit was insane. The venue was really cool. It was one of the nicest places that we've played so far, for sure. And the crowd seemed to really love us. Like they weren't energetic. They weren't going crazy. But in between songs, they were really loud and cheering. So, I mean, hey, that's better than just boo. You know? That was a lot of fun. The other bands were really good that I saw. I didn't stay the whole night, but I stayed for a decent amount of it. The wrestling was fucking awesome. If you've never been to an underground wrestling event, you've got to do it. It's so much fun. My guitarist, who's a huge WWE WrestleMania fan, was saying how in really big wrestling events, if they do like a chair or a table or something, it's usually one and it's a really big like moment. At underground wrestling, it's constant. They had, I think, 1,000 fluorescent light bulbs that they broke throughout the night. They were launching each other into fucking TVs. A shower door came flying at my face. That was fun. I got that on camera. We'll go over that. But it was a really, really good time. Shout out to Shane from Vulgar Display Gaming. He has a YouTube channel. He's the one who set it up. You should go check him out. And we will go on his channel a little bit later to watch the performance. I don't want to bore you all with 30 minutes now of my band and everything. We got to get into some fun topics. Besides that, the spooky season is upon us. Where am I? We got some pumpkins out right now. And as all proper people do, I have my Halloween tree up. If you don't have a Halloween tree, you are a loser. A black tree with Halloween lights and zombie parts and a skull tree topper. There's a xenomorph and a king diamond over in it too. Do you guys not have a Halloween tree? What are you, fucking losers? Come on. Get in the festival spirit. Yes, orange orbs. I put orange and dark purple on there. It's a decent mix, but Halloween tree is genius. See, yeah, it's a black Christmas tree that I got from Walmart years ago. And then around nowish, end of September, I put it up for Halloween and I put all my spooky stuff on it. It's really cool. And then during November, I leave it up because I don't want to take it down 1 month and just put it right back up. So I leave it up, but I take all the spooky stuff off of it, but I leave the orange lights and the more like fall stuff. And then when Thanksgiving is over, I put up Christmas stuff. Perfect. There you go. Never thought of that. Now you do. It is a Halloween tree, Lilith. Are you going to upset Rocket by lying about what his tree is? I just told you what the truth about the tree is, and you go lie about it. What are you, Jimmy Kimmel? Anyway. No, but I will ask my mom if I can get one. There you go. It's a good idea, right? I thought it was cool. Why, do you ever have trick-or-treaters? No. I live in an apartment complex in Long Beach, and I live not on the first floor, so no one ever comes here. There's some walking by. I always joke that I should sit out on my balcony and like throw candy at people when they walk by. I've never done it. Usually my Halloweens are lame as fuck. I end up not doing shit. But I just got tickets to a Halloween thing at the Queen Mary next month. Tickets for Alice Cooper right after that. My band's playing with Carnivore AD at the Whiskey A Go-Go October 16th. You should come check us out. If you're in the SoCal area, hit us up for tickets. It's going to be awesome. I'm busy dying. Hang on. But yeah, hopefully I'll do some really fun, cool stuff. It's like every year when it comes Halloween time, I'm like, oh, I love this time of year. And then I always have these ideas what I want to do for a Halloween day, and I end up not doing shit and just watching like a couple horror movies. Disappointing. Pelting kids with candy. Yeah, see, that's metal. I did go to my first Spirit Halloween tree store the other day. Better idea would be to have an all-year tree. I think it's just called a tree at that point. I've actually thought of that, like if there'd be some way to design it for like each season or something, but I haven't gone that far. This is a very weird metal podcast for people turning in the first time. This is like when James Hetfield was on Joe Rogan and they talked about bees for an hour and a half. Hear me out. Pelt kids with metal CDs and tapes. Oh, I got to wrap up like flyers for my band show into candy and throw it at people when they walk by. That's a good fucking idea. Just put, what is it? The scan code thing for our band camp and throw it at people with candy. I completely missed, and I can't be such a dick like that. Daniel Torres dropped a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, dude. Saying, hey, Wyatt, here's some cash for Godzilla. I saw Kreator on Monday here in Arizona. They were amazing. Thanks to the recommendation, Savior of Metal. Fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome. I'm super glad to hear that. Glad you had a good time. Kreator is playing tonight at the Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood, California. And my guitarist's other band, Pythagoras, another awesome death metal band, is opening for them, along with like 5 other bands. Y'all should go check it out. Last time I saw Kreator, it was there. It was great. Yes, my favorite metal podcast discussing seasonal interior decorating. You never know what you're going to get on the Wyatt's Metal Podcast. Where are we at? Oh. I just saw Slayer at Hershey, Pennsylvania. It was incredible. Way more fire than what they had at their final show. Incredible. Also, Rob Duke kicks ass. First time seeing him. Nice. I'm a big fan of Rob Duke's with Exodus. I'm excited to see them back together. Yeah, when I saw Slayer at Aftershock last year, lots of fire. I mean, they got to make a good comeback, you know? Do you like pumpkin spice latte? Do I look like a 90-pound pale white girl? Do I look like I listen to Taylor Swift? Do I look like I wear Uggs? No. No, I do not. Back when I used to live in the more remote part of California where you could drive out to roads with nobody on them, after Halloween, me and a buddy of mine would go and jack people's pumpkins off of their porches. It was after Halloween, like days afterward. Okay? It wasn't like a big deal. They were going to be thrown away anyway. And we would drive out to the middle of nowhere and we would put M80s in them and throw them and they would fucking explode. It's a lot of fun. You see a pumpkin, put a little thing in it, throw it into a river. Good times. Good times. Don't do that if you live in an area with people. Wyatt does not recommend throwing exploding pumpkins at people. Don't do it. Yes, Wyatt, you are a 90-pound white girl. I'm a 120-pound white girl. Jonathan says, what up, dude? Me and my metal colleague love your content. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. No more landlord visits. No, it's not going to happen this time unless something crazy happens. That thing finally got fixed. It took a little bit. Yeah, that was awkward. I had more things I wanted to talk about on the show. Then I tried to play a video I thought would take enough time. It didn't. And I was just like, bye. It's exactly how I used to leave parties back in the day. I would just disappear. Ellie, not so smelly. I thought Wyatt was a 6'5" buff black guy. Yeah. That's how I identify. That's what I write down whenever I have to do a census. Is your landlord Mario Segale? No, he told me his name was something like, I think it was Johnny Sins or something like that. It was something around that. M80s are illegal in my state and I'm angry. I want my M80s. I think they're probably illegal in California too. If something's illegal anywhere, it's illegal in California. Fuck the M80s. That same friend came down one time for a 4th of July with M1000s, which is basically just like dynamite. That shit was insane. There were definitely car alarms going off. You flew back a little bit. Safety first when it comes to explosives, people. This is not a recommendation. I'm not paying any of your medical bills. I believe in free healthcare, but I'm not paying any of your medical bills. $10 super chat from Xander. Thank you, dude. I appreciate that. I finally got to see Municipal Waste at the NE Metal Fest. Easily the highlight, along with Peeling Flesh and Kubla Khan. My girlfriend and I even got a pic with KK's vocalist after the show. That's sick. Nice. Municipal Waste is always fun live. I think they're touring right now with Cannibal Corpse and Fulci. Someone said in here. Yeah, that's fucking sick. And Peeling Flesh is a cool band too. Their interviews popped up in a few singers late. Their singer has popped up in a few interviews lately. I'm kind of retarded if you guys haven't been able to tell yet. And he seems like a really cool dude. I'm not big on the slam, but yeah. Where does he get the M1000s? Probably illegal sources. Not from me. I don't. He shows up and we blow him up and laugh. Anyway, what are some topics we have to get into? This video interview came out with a Ticket Bastard CEO saying concerts are apparently underpriced. I didn't look at that yet, but I figured we could rage at that together. What else do we have? A couple of announcements for tours. So many things pulled up here to remember what the fuck I wanted to even talk about. Let's just go over some show announcements I have pulled up, shall we? First one up. For Americans, we've got Opeth has announced a February 2026 tour with Catatonia. Do you think they'll do any Bloodbath? I think they may have did that once when they toured together. I don't know. Probably not. Where are they hitting up? Everywhere. Starting in New Jersey. Down to Texas, down to California, Riverside, motherfucker. Fairly short tour. Very short tour, actually. But if there are any Opeth or Catatonia fans out there, back in my day, everyone referred to Opeth and Michael as a fucking god. And now he seems to be all right since he doesn't really do death metal anymore. Josh L. says, never seen Opeth or Catatonia, so I'm looking forward to the Philly date. They're two bands that I'm not into, but I don't disrespect. Like, I don't think they suck. They're just not my style. Opeth GA is 55 for me in Texas. Yeah, it's a little high. It's higher than I would like to pay, of course, but it's not. I don't think it's totally absurd in today's age. Unfortunately. He does do the gutturals on the new one. Their newest album is a banger front to back. Oh, really? Well, maybe I'd take back what I said. Maybe I'll have to give it a shot. I've just never been big into like proggy stuff either. I really love Opeth's song, The Grand Congregation, and his more kind of gothic sound that he does. If their band sounded entirely like that, I would probably really like them. I remember seeing Catatonia on 70K. It was kind of boring, so we left and blacked out at a bar instead. Yeah. If you like Catatonia, that's cool. It's not my style. I'd fall asleep real quickly. Besides the point, but I've heard gatekeepers say death isn't real metal. What the fuck? I've not heard anybody say that. I don't know who's saying that, but they're retarded as shit. They're definitely one. The Drapery Falls is the bomb from Opeth. Prog Pest, someone says, a good way to put them. What else shows were announced? People in Europe, you're getting Kreator announces Crushers of the World album. European tour with Exodus and Carcass. Out of the way. Ads for $70K. So it's Kreator, Carcass, Exodus, and Nails going across Europe. I think that will be a very good show until Kreator starts playing their boring, generic, uninspired, and melodic songs they've been doing for the last 15 years. Someone said in the chat earlier there's something about Kreator using AI. I don't know if that's a thing. Is that like a topic that's going around right now? That's why I started asking for concert tickets to see my favorite bands for my birthday or Christmas. Those are always the best time. That was always, as a metalhead, you get in the holiday spirits because you just write down your wish list of what concerts you want to go to. And then your whole family is horrified trying to go over, what should we get for Sophia for Christmas? Oh, she wants tickets to Dying Fetus and Cattle Decapitation. Oh my God. When is she going to grow out of this phase? If Kreator bring out the deep cuts like they're supposed to at Maryland Death Fest, it would be a real good time. I would not hold my breath, however. Yeah, I remember seeing Kreator, even up to like Enemy of God, Hordes of Chaos days. I still thought they were insane and great live. But they've just gotten more melodic and more cookie cutter, more uninspired for a while now. I don't want them to be, but they are. Tips for auditioning vocalist, either side. Like for someone's looking for a vocalist, and if you're a vocalist trying to get in a band, it's not a face, Mom. I mean, I can only really speak from the vocalist side of it. Be prepared. Really, be prepared and damn, how can I like? Because I'm trying to go back over when I first looked for a band. I legit went on Craigslist and typed in death metal band near me and stuff like that. Just go into it with your voice ready, already knowing songs and being able to free flow. I'm drawing a blank right now, but be able to improvise and have stuff be thrown out at you. If they're like, okay, we have this song. I know you don't know the lyrics, but try to just match a melody or add something to sound cool. Like, don't be afraid of putting yourself out there, because that's obviously what you have to do as a vocalist. It is a little, obviously, intimidating going around people you don't know for the first time and being like, all right, I'm going to scream now. Please don't judge me. Yeah, I mean, kind of just be as prepared as you can. Try to be confident in your vocal ability, at least. Maybe not the songs, the lyrics specifically, but being able to know, like, okay, I can growl, I can scream. I'm not going to be like, all right, let me try to figure it out in front of them. Be prepared for the material and be prepared for criticism. Yeah, be prepared for criticism and don't take criticism as immediate like rejection, because sometimes they might be like, oh, that didn't sound great, but what if you try this here? Be open to that, because sometimes that does happen where you might have something in your head that you want to give a shot, and then it comes out and everyone's like, maybe try it with a fry there, or do this line this way and see how it actually sounds. This is probably the best one. Just actually show up. Just actually show up. Don't ghost them. Keep in normal communication. Definitely don't show up shit-faced for your very first time. Even if the band are cool, even if the band are drinking, smoking, whatever, I would recommend doing your audition before drinking or smoking with them or anything? Because how shit would that be? You go in like all prepared, and you're like, oh, I want to be cool with the guys. Now we're down in drinks and smoking weed. All right, now give it a shot. And you're like, I don't remember how my mouth works. I did do that for the first band that I joined. When I went into it, they were asking if I wanted to smoke, if I wanted to drink or anything. And I said I would at the end, like after we had did the songs. And they ended up later saying like, yeah, that was actually a really good move because that shows that you were taking it seriously, you know? Someone asked, do you have your own amp? Or where is it? Do they have their own PA? Usually a band does. It's definitely a bonus if you're a vocalist and you have your own, but I think the majority of the time they don't. I mean, my band is all jamming in the same practice space they have been for years, so they had pretty much everything there already. If you're a band that's just jamming in your friend's room, you might want to invest in a little PA or something. Doesn't hurt to ask. It does not hurt to ask at all. Any shot of a harsh vocals tutorial? I was debating doing a video like that for the channel because I did the one reacting I thought was pretty good and people have asked me for it. The thing is that I've been just, I guess, a little hesitant on doing a video on how to do harsh or do metal vocals because I learned everything from Melissa Cross, from watching her DVD, from watching it repeatedly, from doing classes with her. And I don't want to feel like I'm just putting her techniques available for free when she has her classes and her DVD and everything. But of course, I can think of different ways to explain it, different, like my own thought processes on it too. But like the warm up I always do, I got straight from her DVD. So I think it'd be cool to show parts of me doing it here, but I would want to leave really educational stuff to that. But I could, like how I give my own interpretation on songs and stuff, you know, I'd add my comedic value and describe it in different ways. I can do that for sure. I'll give you a great tip for practicing vocals right now. They can start immediately. Just start practicing making weird noises with your mouth. Try copying animal sounds legitimately. When you see a video of an animal on YouTube that pops up, try mimicking the sound. That is legitimately a great way to start practicing your voice to get up to the point where you can start doing false chord screams and shit. How many minutes songs can you endure vocally? I mean, if we're taking even a short break between each song and I have water, it could go endlessly pretty much. I mean, when you're first starting out, you shouldn't overexert yourself. But I mean, I'm at the point where if we're recording or working on a song, I can go for hours and I'm fine. But as long as I know how to do it correctly, I always catch myself when I'm performing having moments where I'm like, oh, I didn't do that quite right, or I didn't breathe the way I was supposed to there and feel a difference. High screams are fry. Gut air. Don't do it from your throat. Just control it with your vocal folds. Yeah, that's one big thing. A lot of people will think when you're doing vocals, metal vocals. Here, we don't need this article up anymore. Hang on. A lot of people assume when you're doing metal vocals and death metal vocals that you need to be using a shit ton of air. When you're going like, oh, you want to be like you're screaming, like you're so pissed off. Your emotional state has nothing to do with how your vocals sound. Unless you're just like catatonic nothingness. But when I'm doing really high screams, I can hold them out for a decent amount of time without being pissed off. You know, me and my band do crazy death metal songs, and the moment it's over, we're talking normally and cracking jokes, and they're like, all right, next song then. Going crazy. It's not throwing so much air, it's controlling your air. So like for a really high scream, you wouldn't want to be like like blowing a house down. You'd want to be slowly releasing the air that you do have and controlling your muscles in the way it feels like a superpower, honestly, when you get decent enough with it. I got growls and gutturals down. I just can't. The weird thing for me was I felt fries were easier for me. The high-pitched black note, yeah, that was easier for me, and that was way more throat and mouth than it should have been. But just kept practicing and practicing is eventually how I got to the lows. I've been doing stuff like that since I was a kid. That is how it works. It really does. If you want to be a metal vocalist, you have to become really comfortable with making really weird sounds out loud, either to yourself or whatever. If you have to become comfortable with being in your apartments, going in your apartments. I'm trying to think of a good one. I think there's one that's like me. That's one of them. So you have to get comfortable doing that if you want to sound like Cannibal Corpse and doing weird sounds and shit. Do them really loud. You want me to do a fry stream really loud? All right, let me back up. Hang on. I did not warm up, so it might not be my best, but I'm going to scare Rocky. See? You made me scare Rocky. What a dick. This is what you get for making me scare Rocket while he was asleep.
Move this man!
That's more of the fry scream. Or no, that is the fry scream. Not warmed up at all. And then the false chord's more the... That's more diaphragm down. Fry scream is kind of more projecting out. I mean, both project. You can do both. You can do projecting with death metal false chords, and then you can also do kind of inhaling a little more Weasley. I'm pretty sure Alex Terrible does that from what I can hear. You scared my cats also. I woke up everyone's cats. You're welcome. How long do you warm up? Any difference between warming up for shows versus recording? No, I don't do a difference between shows and recording. The warm-up that I do is about 13 minutes long. It's from Melissa Cross's DVD, The Zen of Screaming. A lot of them she's doing with Randy Bly. It's really funny. I think he's younger than I am now in it. But I practiced enough time with the full DVD that now I know what the warm-ups are. So I recorded just kind of like quick parts of them to remind me, so I can play a quick part of one of them doing the vocal warm-up, and then I just like copy along with it. But before I memorize what each one was, it's a longer segment on the DVD. It's like 20 minutes or longer or so, where she's actually explaining what all you're doing. But it's that. I just saved that on my phone, so I can just pull it up and do it. It's definitely noticed a huge difference between warming up and not warming up. Anyway, enough of scaring cats. What else? There's more shows announced, more metal infos. We got the Sonic Temple 2026 has announced a couple of bands. We got Behemoth, we got Deathclock, we've got Crash Out of Filth, we got Dying Fetus, Cattle Decapitation, Suffocation, and Necrogoblicon. Pretty mostly good announcement. Pretty mostly all right, good announcement. And then a full lineup of a bunch of shit with a couple of fans on them. Yeah, it was also announced that 3 of the really big American festivals, I think it was Sonic Temple, Welcome to Rockville, and some other one of the other Danny Wimmer ones, are being headlined by My Chemical Romance. So I won't be there. But if that's something you want to see. I've heard that My Chemical Romance tour is like this huge, elaborate stage show, and that's really cool. That's something I'd be into, but I can't listen to their fucking music to see it. Maybe I'll do that. I'm gonna pull up later on a full video of the current My Chemical Romance tour, and I'll just play like black metal or death metal. I'll play like Frozen Soul and Crypto over it. Yeah. Also, yes, Sabaton did announce a tour. Let me pull that up because that actually wasn't on here somehow. Did we cover that last week? Maybe we did. Yeah. Yeah, I think we did cover that last week. You're making me bring up old shit. But for those who don't know, Sabaton is coming back to the U.S. with Pop Evil and something else. Pretty big tour. I would like to see them playing at the Kia Forum. The Kia Forum is where I'm going to see Judas Priest and Alice Cooper. That's where like Madonna and the Foo Fighters perform. And now Sabaton's headlining there. That's crazy. I remember seeing them at small fucking places in San Francisco. Shout out to them. That's very cool. And also, this wasn't metal, but it's metal adjacent. A lot of metal fans like this, so it's worth mentioning for a tour. Health and Carpenter Brute announced 2026 North American tour. For basic synthwave fans out there. Health is headlining over Carpenter Brute. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, a lot of metal fans love synth as well. So there you go. Hollywood Palladium, that's big. At Emos in Austin. Anyone trying to get their ounce on. Tons of Rock announced a decent lineup, as did Rock Imperium, and Nova Rock announced a really shit lineup. Yeah, the Tons of Rock one was not too bad, actually. I will pull that up in a bit here. Do you like Sabaton? They're a band I think I should listen to more since I love history. Yes, I love Sabaton. I've never understood the hate for them that a lot of people go off of. I think their last handful of albums have been rather generic. They're falling into that same kind of process of we need to get another album out, just kind of copy the same riffs and put different lyrics over it. But I'm a huge history fan. I'm a huge Ward history fan. So they're right up my fucking alley. I first saw them in like 2008 or something at Grass Pop. Yeah, I was very surprised how big they've gotten. Love it with the tanks and everything. I think Sabaton is great. I was catching up with the chat. We also got, while we're going over announcements. Oh shit, I didn't realize I had this whole thing pulled up. Hold up, I'm trying to figure out what we're doing. I'm sorry. All right. The 23 biggest rock metal tours of fall 2025, brought to you by Loudwire. And an advertisement that I can't get to go away. Thank you. Anyway, let's go over what some of the biggest tours are coming up, shall we? And then we can get into some news stories, some drama and gossip a little bit here and there. And then we can get into some other videos. I got quite a few things to go over on this stream today, actually. Anyway. We've got Blink 182 is going on tour to reveal aliens with support from Alkaline Trio, Scal, and some other bands. None of these are interesting. Bring It, Don't Care. Dream Theater. No, like, info. What the fuck is this, Loudwire? Just like, here's a band and dates. No info at all. Okay, I guess we won't go over this. What a great mystery. Anyway. Fuck all of these metal media outlets. They're all garbage. You all suck. God, they're either have stupid opinions or they're complete clickbait trash. AI crap. Fuck you. Site sources. Jesus. Right, Rocket? Anyway. Next thing to share. Oh, this is an announcement too. And then Iron Maiden has announced a massive UK concert for 2026. They announced some tour dates too. They're doing pretty much, I think, the main festival routes next year. Following last week's announcement of Iron Maiden's European Festival and Stadium Tour, they have announced that Iron Maiden will return to the United Kingdom next year for an enormous outdoor headline performance featuring hand-picked bill of special guests. This will not just be a concert, but an Iron Maiden curated weekend event with the biggest Eddie's dive bar ever. Various fun experiences currently being worked on, Maiden-themed food and other stands, plus much more besides, including their very own take on the historic Knobworth Fair. AI. The specially invited supporting lineup is The Darkness. That's weird. That's a very weird first choice, I think. The Hue. Not The Who. The Hue. Airborne. The Almighty. That's a kind of weird list of specially invited guests for Iron Maiden, I gotta say. We knew we had to bring Run to Your Live show back to the UK again next summer. Phenomenal demand for tickets, blah, 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 blah. I think it's just going to be a really big Iron Maiden show, basically. I mean, I'm still happy to see Iron Maiden as many times as I can before you can't anymore, but yeah. Not quite the like back to beginning temptation that Ozzy had. The Hue are like Genghis Khan formed a metal band. Fuck yeah. That's my type of shit. Yeah, not going to that one. Yeah. I like The Darkness, but I don't think they mash well with Maiden. I don't either. That's a really weird lineup. The better one was San Bernardino. What was it, 2013? Not in order. It was Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Anthrax, Testament, Sabaton, and Overkill, I believe. That was much better than this one. Start throwing eggs at Bruce Dickinson. No, don't. I do not support that whatsoever. Anyone here a Carcass fan? I only know one song, but I got invited to see them on Friday. Yeah, dude, check them out. Carcass is great. Classic band. Started off super grindy. Got a little more death metal over the years. Rocket's trying to get a fly. Hang on. Where is that one? Yeah, I feel the same about Iron Maiden I do with Judas Priest. Like, I think they're quite obviously not at the very peak of their careers anymore. They're still very good. You know, it's not like embarrassing seeing them play by any means at all. But I think you should still just take the opportunity to appreciate them while you can in a time where we just lost Ozzy. Wyatt, did you give the Igor new album a listen? I have not. So I don't have a comment. Let's do Other interesting stories. Hang on, I got a lot of tabs open here. Not just for this show, for other stuff I was working on. Let's do start with the older albums and work your way up to Heartwork. That's a good recommendation. Yeah. Something to talk about. We're talking about bands touring. Let's talk about a band quitting. But first, weight loss. Get the fuck out of here. Black metal band Watain to call it quits after release of 8th studio album. We have a band retiring with dignity and cocaine and blast beats. Swedish black metalers Watain have announced that their upcoming 8th studio album will be their final collection of new material. If you're unfamiliar with Watain, they are fucking insane live. I saw them at some festivals. I don't remember. I think in like 2012, 13, that era. And the time when they started getting canceled from shows in San Francisco because that place sucks. So Watain released a statement. They released it on a video. They didn't play any copyrighted music, did it? No, well. Let me just find that video. Pause for dramatic effect, folks. Here, get out of here. Let me pull it up on Instagram. Yeah, anyone here see Watain before? They were fucking crazy live. They really were. A lot of fire, ritualistic shit. Very lovely smelling incense. For how dark and scary and satanic they were, their show smelled wonderful. Oh, sweet. I'm more stoked to see Carcass now. I've only heard Exhumed to Consume, but we'll check out more before Friday. Oh, yeah. You'll have a great time. Very good band live. What is my favorite song by them is, what is it? Corporal Jigsaw something? The one. I fucking love that one. Anyway, I got the Watain thing. Watain. You have to say it like in the Wu-Tang style. Where is it? Here? All right, here's what Watain, Black Metal Legends. Copyrighted music. Very dramatic band, if you couldn't tell. Ladies and gentlemen, followers, allies, and supporters, this is a solemn transmission from the Temple of Watain. We hereby announce that in 3 years' time, upon our 30th anniversary, Watain's 8th and final full-length album will be released. The album will mark the closure of a 30-year-long magical work, the last crossroad of Watain, after which the band will cease to exist. The ending of a tirade of decades during which we have shared our sacred path through this strange world with you, our loyal audience, on a steady course towards the beckoning darkness of the end. Anyway, over the course of the next 3 years, the reasons for this will be spoken of and accounted for. But for now, we just want to say this. Have our songs and our art not always dealt with finitude and mortality, with death and the beyond? Now it is time to claim our own conclusion and shape it as we have shaped our stage and our songs in the fires of will. Instead of being consumed by the jaws of time or broken upon the wheel of circumstance, we chose to let Watain return, unbowed and undefeated, back in the primordial chaos that once gave it life. Very dramatic. And so we stand on the threshold to our final chapter, and 3 years of work remain. 3 liminal years in the borderlands between the living and the dead, during which new music will be written and shared, concerts will take place, and other things that will be revealed in due time will emanate with the certainty of death from the Temple of Watain. Their last concert's going to be a full just Norwegian Jim Jones experience. No, Swedish Jim Jones experience. Take this message not as a farewell, but as the first note of a sacrificial requiem, as well as your invitation to partake in shaping these last years into something beyond compare. Praise be to the devil god by whom our path is blessed, and upon those who alter, we now place this our humble offering to the death and far beyond, Watain. That was so much better written than every Hollywood film in the last decade. Fucking hell. Could you add like a little more? Could you just add a little more drama, please? Very typical in their whole theme and style. They were always they were a band I don't think played concerts. They played rituals and magic events, as it's called. It's what we call being high on cocaine. I saw Watain at Grass Pop in 2015. Insane show. Yeah. Especially festivals where they have all of that shit. Never seen Watain. Never been to any black metal shows. That would be a good one to check out if you get the chance. I like when bands eventually call it quits after doing so many albums, especially really good ones when they leave it off on a good note. Yeah, I agree. I think as over-dramatized as the announcement is, I do respect their decision when they're saying that the reasons will come out over time. Like, I mean, I assume one of the reasons would be you probably don't want to be 65 years old while playing in a black metal band. You know? To be fair, I thought their last album, The Wild Hunt? It was awful. It was so fucking bad. Oh my God. So if they want to come back and do a really good album to make us forget about that piece of shit and then go out in flames, I would totally respect that style of doing it. Isn't that the album that had like a ballad on it and other shit? No band really quits. If Inferno or Beyond the Gates or any of these festivals threw Watain a shit ton of money in 5, 6, 7 years, pretty sure they would do the show. Maybe no more music or anything, but as far as their statement, I respect it as long as they actually stick to it. It's not easy to call it quits. I mean, how many bands are just shells of their past selves? Yeah, and I would rather a band go out on a high rather than do that, become like, see Watain in 10 years where it's one member who doesn't want to be there and is underpaying a bunch of other people. Slaughter to Prevail will never do a headlining tour. Don't need to worry about those tickets going up. They do headlining tours all the time. What are you talking about? Rolling Stones are preparing a new album. Exactly. It's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, Watain probably doesn't want to end up like in the Danny Phil situation. Yeah. No updates publicly on the Cradle of Filth drama yet. Anyway, shout out to Watain. Amazing fucking stage show. Really awful album, The Wild Hunt, but their other albums are really, really good. What else do we have to cover? A couple new things. A couple videos. What's this one? Oh, let's talk about the Metal Threat Festival. It has some shenanigans going on, apparently. This was a festival I was interested in seeing because they had a really crazy lineup of awesome. Well, this is what the lineup was originally. An awesome festival in Chicago, I believe it was, of a lot of underground death and black metal bands that do not get shows in America often. But 3 days ago, the festival posted saying Metal Threat Fest 2025 updates on Monday. It's fucked, but not canceled. There will be little treats that I hope will save the day on Monday. And then Monday came, and they released the running order of the bands that will be playing. And there's a good chunk of bands that are now not on the lineup. If someone could have typed it out somewhere, that would help because I don't have it memorized. Metal Threat Fest got reamed. It seems like it. Which sucks because I would like to check it out. It's a very different lineup than what you normally see in America. Where is it? So their post says, due to the visa denials, these are the daily fest lineups with some new substitutions I was able to make happen on such short notice. It fucking sucks is all I can say, but the show must and will go on. Still looking for some American substitutions to fill in Thursday and Saturday in particular. 50% off all remaining tickets. So if you don't have a ticket to Metal Threat and you like the lineup, kind of works out in your favor, doesn't it? Ones that I noticed right away are missing from the lineup are Satanic War Masters, no longer on there. There were others couldn't fucking tell you, to be honest. That was mostly the one that I noticed. But yeah. So the show is still going on. It's got stuff like Engorge is playing. We've got Inquisition is still playing. Absu is still playing. Unleashed is still playing. Sinister is still playing. Dead Congregation is still playing. Yeah. But so some of the comments here, it sucks to see so many people complaining about money. Paul has stated from the beginning that no refunds would be given unless the event is canceled completely. I understand everyone's frustrations, but you all knew this from the beginning. All I can say is make the best of a situation and come support the event anyway. Someone trying to look on the more brighter side of life. Someone says, so those of us that paid full price, are we getting some type of refund or compensation to make up the difference? I think we mostly get the pleasure of complaining about it. I have no inside information on this festival at all, so I can't let you know if there's going to be some type of half refund or if the promoter is a dickhead or if he's not a dickhead and bad things actually... I don't know. What I know is what I'm reading right here, so we're discovering this together. I don't know if this is a Jonathan Sly and corpse paint. The lineup really got eviscerated. Wow. Some people still happy about it. Lineup alone is worth every bit of what I've spent. So yeah, big dramatic update on the Metal Threat front if anyone was looking forward to that festival. Which sucks. Yeah, visa issues have always been a bitch for America. Although I have heard that a lot of the times when there is a visa issue with a band, a lot of times it's not actually the either American system or Border Patrol being dicks. Sometimes it's bands not doing their paperwork properly. Sometimes it's bands not paying attention to what they need to sign and what they need to send in and whatnot. That happens too. And then they're like, oh, the system's so fucked against us. But it's like, no, you've known for months you're supposed to do this, but you're retarded. I've been told that also happens. I kind of like Lorna Shore, but then I bought Morbid Angel's first album when it was new, so I'm old. Damn, you saying you kind of like Lorna Shore is more than I would say, and it seems you're older than me. Yeah. In other news, what are we doing? I got a couple things to go over here. We've got trying to decide. This interview popped up on Loudwire of John Schaefer of Iced Earth calls ex-singer a poser over January 6th riot comments. I guess there was some new interview with him. I wanted to look over this really quick. I'll read over that in a second. I'm trying to find the actual interview. Oh, here we go. How long is this shit? This is like an hour-long interview. I'm not watching the whole thing. The fuck? Where is it? These are the worst. All right, here it is. How long is it?
Hey, this is John Schaefer.
We're not playing 2 fucking hours. Okay, sorry, but what did Loudwire say that he said about his former band? Iced Earth's John Schaefer is preaching forgiveness when it comes to former bandmates Stu Block and Hansi Kirch, but admits he does feel Block's comments and distancing himself from the Iced Earth guitarist after January 6th protest on the Capitol building was essentially a total poser move. As a refresher, Schaefer was sought as a person of interest after he was photographed inside the U.S. Capitol building on January 6th among those who had breached the building in hopes of stopping the transfer of power of the presidency to Joe Biden. Some would say it was a really stupid protest that got out of hand. Some would say it was an inside job. In the aftermath of January 6th, all of the members of Iced Earth moved on from the band, and Kirch, who also played with Schaefer in Demons and Wizards, stepped away from that group. It was a very mid group anyway. No, nothing of value was lost there. Schaefer, meanwhile, turned himself in after appearing on an FBI most wanted list. I watched an interview with him talking about it. From his perspective, he was basically saying they were protesting outside. Then people start going inside. He goes inside. He was there for, I want to say it was like 5 to 15 minutes, something in that range. Not long, where they got a really good picture of him yelling at a cop, and then he walked out. Didn't think anything of it. And then like the next day, the FBI is looking for him. What a fun twist. Schaefer was officially sentenced to 3 years probation and 120 hours of community service while being ordered to pay $1,000 in restitution and a $200 financial assessment for his role on January 6th. A fine. Anyway, goddamn, let's get to the actual thing. So what he said on this podcast, let me just take this opportunity to say, I hope that the fans out there will stop. I mean, my wish is that they would stop hating on Stu and on Hansi. The guys were pressured. Some guys handled it better. Some guys handled it very weak and kind of pathetic. Shared Schaefer. That's a fucking tongue twister right there. He then addressed Block in particular, stating, I think the biggest issue when it comes to Stu is that he made a post on January 6th, cheering it on, and then flipped, and that looks like a total poser move. Wait, what? I think the biggest issues when it comes to Stu is that he made a post cheering on January 6th and then flipped, and that looks like a total poser move. You know what? It is a total poser move, but it's okay. Forgive him. We did some great work together. I had some of the best times in my life with Stu. I have very precious memories with Stu, so please forgive him. I forgive him. So I think he's saying that initially Stu Block seemed to support the January 6th riot/protest. And then when backlash started popping up, he was like, oh, actually, no, I'm not. To be fair, Stu is Canadian, so it makes sense. He went on to add, everyone is a flawed human being, and the thing is, Hansi and I are still close, and we're always going to be. And the difference is that we talked before I turned myself in several times. And I knew what was coming because the pressure he was under, and he hated it. So we can confirm that Hansi Kurz is a Nazi. No, not. Don't be a fucking retard if you take me seriously with that. But it's a witch hunt. It was a witch hunt, and it is what it is. It is a bummer because we write great stuff together, and we were on a serious trajectory. Demons and Wizards had just come back right then, too. Schaefer added, it is not likely that Kurtz and he would work together musically again. I wonder what the real answer for that is. But he foresees them still remaining close. The answer is because if Hansi were to publicly work with Schaefer now, all of his German fans would call him a Nazi. So that's why he wouldn't be able to do it. As for Block, Schaefer commented, I really don't have any ill will. I know Stu's true colors. They're maple syrup. So that's a good thing. I'm not interested in hanging out like we did. I have no interest in that. But he's a part of the band's history, and we did some great stuff together, and I wish him well. There you go. As Schaefer stated, Block initially seemed to support the January 6th riot at the Capitol building, but later issued a statement condemning it. Do you have that evidence? I don't even remember. In a social media post shared, but since deleted by Block on his social media, the singer expressed some satisfaction with the pro-Trump revolt. Oh, it's happening! Shared Block in deleted posting. History in the making. Sending love to my friends in the U.S. and all over the world. Interesting. Then in an announcement posted on January 9th on Block's socials, but attributed to the entire group, it stated that the band absolutely do not condone, nor do we support you canceling our careers because we did totally support this. And we just don't want to say it publicly. Or the acts of violence that the rioters were involved in on January 6th. We hope all those involved that day are brought to justice and to be investigated. Thank you, corporate PR. That was probably not even written by anyone in the band. And another exchange with the media after Schaefer's involvement came to light. Block shared, see, I live in maple syrup land, soon to face the wrath of the Canadian kaiju. I have nothing against Canada, actually. It's all just a stupid, fun joke for the channel. And do not really engage in political stuff or share my beliefs. I only posted saying, it's happening! When it started. I have chosen to spread love and not comment or allow any hate. Super interesting lukewarm responses when this was happening. That's interesting. I don't remember Stu Block's statements at all or anyone's statements on that at the time. I met Wyatt inside the Capitol during January 6th. I was the guy opening the barricades. Duh. I thought you all would recognize me. You didn't think it was a little weird that one of the cops on January 6th was wearing a Dark Insanity shirt? That didn't stand out to anybody? I think AI wrote this. I think you're right. If it wasn't AI, it was PR. One or the other. Man, still bummed that Demons and Wizards ended because of him. I always thought Demons and Wizards are kind of mid. A couple of good songs, but it wasn't crazy. Did you talk about Kreator doing an EU tour with Exodus, Carcass, and Nails? Yes, I did. So it'll be a really good tour until creators start doing really generic songs, unless they play their old shit. Wyatt, turn around. I want to see your hair. There's hair. Unlike many people out there think I am not bald. I've always had a very big forehead. Although at the wrestling metal show my band played this last weekend, someone literally did say they recognized me because of my hairline. I was like, cool. Maple syrup land. I wanted to go to January 6th, but DC is cold that time of year and my arthritis really kicks in. Yo, no lie, like you're actually right. I was in DC when Obama's first inauguration. I was actually there. Somehow my family got a connection to attend. My mom still has the paperwork saying you're cordially invited from the Obamas. I'm kind of a big deal, is what I'm saying. But I was at Obama's inauguration. It was January something. It was really fucking cold. It was really cold. All of the rioters on January 6th were just huddling together for warmth. That's all it was. They were told that the heaters were on inside the Capitol, and they went in for survival, and everyone freaked out, thinking, why are you trying to break into our building? They're like, no, it's cold. Damn. Why can't we all? It was just a huge misunderstanding. It's all it was. It looks so good, your hair. Thank you. I appreciate that. I need to go back and take all of my likes. I thought you were going to wage war against Canada. I'm very disappointed. I never said I'm not doing that. I said I don't have anything against Canada. I never said I'm not going to wage war on them. You got to keep history fun, you know? It all makes sense. I'm trying to see if I missed any fun comments while I was going off on that. Projector says, I don't know why, but when I met you at Tolminator, I thought you had long hair, even though I watched you for a while. I don't know. Maybe it's just people's imagination. They picture I have different hairstyles. Some people probably think I have a giant mohawk sticking out of the back. Yeah, I'm dying. The sound on the wrestling video is horrible. Yeah, I don't know what's with my phone. Ever since I used a real microphone, Bluetooth mic for my phone, now when I record without it, the sound goes in and out. So I don't know what it is. You're like, yeah, when I was doing live streams, sometimes the sound's fine, and then it drops, and it comes back for no reason at all. Dark Insanity needs to play the next inauguration. They are America's band. Ours would be far more violent than any other inauguration. Just for fun. Not for any political reason whatsoever. Just for entertainment. Let that hair grow, brother. Man, as soon as it gets to like my ear, like here, I'm like, I can't stand it. Get this fucking thing off my head. When I was younger, I had long metal hair down past my shoulders and everything, but yeah, it feels so awful now. I can't do it. My best friend was at Obama's inauguration too. She has a photo with him and she's covered in tattoos. Always thought it was a cool pic, even though not an Obama fan now. I used to be, though. Yeah, same. I definitely didn't meet him. I was far away. I did, however, at Obama's inauguration, how old was I? I had to be like 16 or something. I did flip off both George W. Bush and Hillary Clinton. You're welcome, everybody. Doing my part to make America a better place. You have to turn off Bluetooth on your phone. I don't think that's what it is, because I think I had it off. I'm not sure. Anyway, I have more stories to get to before we got a couple of videos to get into. We're talking a little bit of a political route now, but something I thought was funny that I wanted to get into on the last podcast, but then I couldn't because my landlord rudely interrupted me, was, I know it's a few days past now, it's definitely not a topic we're going to stick on for a long time, but the political assassination that happened in America recently, a couple of metal people made very simple, normal posts saying, hey, I don't really like when people get shot in public like that. And a bunch of fans freaked out on him. Darren from System of a Down made a post saying, fuck political violence. And everyone said, oh, I guess System of a Down is far right now. And he was just laughing at them. Another one that I thought was very funny. Where'd he go? Brian Head Welch from Korn is a big, massive, outspoken Christian. Always has been. This should not come as a surprise to literally anybody. And I thought this was funny. So recently, Brian Head Welch of Korn posted, I've never been able to stomach politics. After more than 5 decades on this earth, I've seen so much corruption on both sides, eating away at unity like a cancer. One thing I've never understood is how so many right-wing Christian leaders and followers can completely set aside the teachings of Christ to walk in love, kindness, and to forgive all, even our enemies. Instead, it often becomes about mocking and humiliating each other like school children, both sides returning the same hostile spirit back and forth. This moved me deeply yesterday, and he's referring to Erica Kirk at Charlie Kirk's funeral, saying that she forgives the assassin of her husband. Seeing how Erica has chosen to live out what I've been hoping political Christians would display for years. Loving our fellow man in America, all men and all women, even our enemies. Maybe she is a sign that this really is a turning point for America. Should I get my hopes up? Or am I thinking like a fool? I answered that for him immediately. What I do know is this. I've seen glimpses of the future, and the glue that holds everything together in the next life is a love so profound that the human mind can't even begin to comprehend it. We're only here for a short time, and Christ is calling humanity to step into that future now, to display true eternal love and forgiveness toward one another. So that was his very hopeful message he shared with this very beautiful moment. And I am someone who is not a Christian, does not particularly necessarily believe in God like that. But I respect his message. But I also said, comments here gave that answer you're looking for, huh? One person says, please delete. I can't take losing Korn amidst all this bullshit. He posted saying, is there hope in America that people might be able to get along? Please delete this. I can't take this. Right? I am actually speechless listening to all this crap about that memorial and the people loving it. Oh my God. Are we all crazy? Who can be fooled with that bullshit? I'm out. You have 2 people who are no longer Korn fans because he said, I've always had a problem with the right-wing Christian leaders, but I like this message. I responded, if showing sympathy to a grieving widow makes you want to stop listening to Korn, then you're a bad person. Brian Head Welch responded shortly after, there's my answer. I guess I was a fool to believe. Now back to our regularly scheduled program of division and hate. The people saying, don't fall for this grift. It's all lies. She actively wants violence against minorities. I'm not even going to comment on people's politics here then. I'm commenting on the hilarity of a metal musician sharing a thing about basically saying, can't we all just get along? And everyone's like, no, fuck you. I'm not going to your concerts anymore, you piece of shit. Unfollow. We had Nita Strauss like this message from him. I guess she's an awful evil person too now. Nah, Head, this is weird, bro. Showing sympathy for a grieving widow is weird, bro. Yeah, there was even one other I wanted to get to. All the lovely, unifying people. The metal fans. I just think it was funny. The same thing happened to Darren from System of a Down, from Johnny from Nothing More. Probably others that I didn't see. I think it's just repeating comments now. What the fuck are you doing? Anyway, so that's what happens when a metal musician tries to call for peace and unity in politics in America. Rocket's having a lot of fun with this fly. To the people who stopped liking a band over politics, did you even like the band to begin with? Nope. Nope. I think if you can take something like that super out of context and spin it to not become a fan anymore, then no, you were not a fan, and there's no use having you around. Like the people who comment saying, I love your channel, but can you not say this thing here? And I look and they've only showed up in like 1 or 2 videos before. I'm like, oh, really? You're a big fan of the channel? And you just showed up, but you want me to change everything about it? Okay. I've been unaffiliated for a bit now because our government is a uniparty, correct? But the Charlie Kirk thing is sad. No one should celebrate a person dying and should think about his kids and wife. Yeah, for those who weren't here, I was live streaming as that was happening. Like, he was shot and my show started and I was checking the updates as it was happening. Yeah, nope, I definitely don't support that. I will not laugh at what happened anyway. I think anyone who does is a piece of shit, and I don't care if that makes you feel bad. And I thought it was really funny. People being like, I don't like seeing people get killed. And everyone's like, fuck you, traitor. To be fair, why was the funeral like a WWE intro? There were some things I thought were a little not excellent. The fires and sparklers going off when a widow comes out was kind of a little weird. I agree with him, even though I'm not religious like that. I just am into kindness and peace, but I'm not a dirty hippie. Good. Can we all of the people in the comments? We absolutely can, yes. Did I already went too far. For all of the people in the comments saying they no longer like Korn because he called for peace, and they don't like System of a Down for being far right because he said he doesn't like political violence. You're all retarded. Boo all of these people.
Boo this man!
Yep. The comment about I'm not affiliated with either because they're a uniparty is absolutely correct. All sides are stupid. Anyway, other things to get into. Oh, but by the way, remember, getting shot on a college campus in front of your family for words people don't like is consequences for speech. But if you host a late night TV show and you get put in timeout for a weekend, that is a fascist attack on free speech and democracy. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I hate all of these people. Let's get to the Live Nation ticket thing. My team is clean, your team is dirty. Correct, exactly. I think both teams are shit and dumb. Anyway, one of the main topics. Can't wait. Hey, for once someone didn't say my opinion is stupid. I seem to be one of the few metal YouTubers out there who seem to have logical conclusions. So yeah, this video popped up from Rock Feed. I believe it's covering either an interview or an article from the Live Nation CEO saying that concert tickets are underpriced. There are going to be many, many, many boo this mans throughout this segment. Rocket wants to play. Hang on. Does your cat play fetch? Oh, shit. Anyway, I haven't watched this yet. We're going to watch it together. I think it goes to a longer interview I'll go to. I'm going to assume right now that I hate this person a lot. You shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I am.
Live Nation has become a dominant force in
live inflation.
entertainment over the last 20 years. Their merger now over a decade ago with Ticketmaster has attracted quite a bit of scrutiny. And all of this growth has happened under the leadership of their CEO, Michael Rapino.
Boo this man. Sorry, Rocket. Priorities. Where is it? Where is it? Boo this motherfucker.
Boo this man.
I'm going to need to keep that clip handy. It's going to be used a lot in this segment.
And he made some recent comments during an event about ticket pricing that likely won't be very reassuring to the millions of fans
Any
out
human being. This lizard piece of shit does not understand how humans operate.
there that already have concerns about high ticket prices. When you open up Ticketmaster, ready to buy concert tickets,
Ticket bastard. It's ticket bastard and live inflation.
and you finally see the price, what's the first word that comes to your mind?
Fuck you.
Is it expensive?
Suck a
Insane?
dick. Go fuck yourself.
How
Turn him
about
down.
underpriced? Probably not, but that's exactly what
His hairline is worse than mine. Boo this man again.
Boo this man.
Piece of shit.
CEO of Live Nation, the biggest concert
Why are your
promoter
ears so big? Fucking Dumbo.
in the world, thinks about the tickets you're buying. Michael Rapino, the
It's
mayor,
perfectly, for those who are unaware, it is perfectly okay to it's perfectly okay to throw every single insult you can think of at this person. Sorry, creature.
in charge of that live music empire, was speaking at a recent industry conference when he suggested that even with all the complaints about high ticket prices, concert tickets are still a bargain. He believes there's still, in his words, a lot of runway left to charge fans even more.
Fuck you.
Now, to make his point, he compared going to a show with going to a basketball game or buying season tickets.
Because those are not overpriced as fuck.
He said, quote, "In sports, I joke it's like a badge of honor to spend 70 grand for a Knicks courtside seat. They beat me up if we charge 800 for Beyonce. Definitely, if you're able to afford something like that, you are certainly wealthy to be able to have that kind of disposable
And fucking stupid. Just because something is that expensive doesn't mean you should spend the money on it.
income for entertainment." Now, he went on to say that, quote, "Music has been..."
Also, I have to point out that this motherfucker was like, oh, we can add more because basketball tickets and season tickets cost more. Those athletes get paid way more fucking money than any of the artists playing metal shows. The artist you referenced was Beyonce, not fucking Cannibal Corpse or even Nightwish or Sabaton or Judas Priest even.
underappreciated, and that the price of a
By
concert
that, I mean that those artists are not getting paid anywhere near some fucking NBA team is.
has been too low
Unless you want to start paying them that, then go for it. But
for a long time. To back this up, Rapino claimed that the average concert ticket price is just $72. He said,
bullshit. That's like cheap end for nosebleeds nowadays. And the reason it's those prices is because of you and your fucking bullshit corporatist allies that ruin the music industry. That's why tours get canceled, because they're not making money, because artists don't get paid enough, because you are evil.
and quote, "Try going to a Laker game for that." And there's
Try going fuck yourself for that. Laker games are getting paid way more money.
80 of them, but the number seems a little out of touch with what fans are actually paying. And he didn't
Oh,
specify
shit.
where that number came from. Now, according to 2024 data from Polestar, the average ticket price for one of the top 100 tours in the US was actually $136. If you were going to a stadium show, the average was $128. An average arena show was about $99. And of course, none of these numbers
And
even
all of those are absurd.
begin to factor in the notorious service fees, dynamic pricing, or the brutal secondary market where scalpers run wild. Now,
Which they run.
Rapino's defense, in all fairness, is that
He's a piece of shit. In his defense, no, there's no defense. Fuck him.
artists are pouring in more and more money into huge, elaborate productions to give fans a memorable show. And that does cost a lot of money, but it's a tough pill to swallow for fans who feel like they're getting squeezed.
Not every band is. There's plenty of bands that don't have big, elaborate stage shows that are getting fucked over with ticket prices
From every possible angle before they even walk through the gates. And if you've been to an amphitheater show anytime recently, you know that you've even now got to pay to rent the lawn chairs. Now, these comments come at a time when Live Nation has been under intense scrutiny. The company's currently in the midst of
They are an evil company. They have no useful purpose.
Massive antitrust lawsuit from the Department of Justice, which alleges that Live Nation and its subsidiary Ticketmaster operate as an illegal monopoly, in their opinion, that stifles competition. And
they literally do. They own the majority of venues in America and in the world. So if a band wants to not play a Live Nation Ticketmaster venue, they practically fucking can't. Because even if Live Nation doesn't own a venue, they can pressure the other venues not to book them. Bands have tried to do tours that were not Live Nation ones and didn't work out. They legit do have an evil monopoly on live touring. Everyone knows it. Not every single person who works for Live Nation on every level is an evil scumbag corporate piece of shit, but all their bosses are.
Prices. The FTC has also filed its own suit accusing Ticketmaster of hiding fees and not doing enough to stop scalpers. Unfortunately, I think the bottom line here is simple. Don't
She wasn't on enough Tylenol, goddammit. She should have mixed it with vodka.
expect concert tickets to get any more affordable anytime soon. The man in charge of it all is being crystal clear that he believes there's room to raise prices even higher. Now, it's worth noting that he was speaking in front of
Everyone's saying that Trump is a fascist dictator. What about this motherfucker? How come we don't have protests in the streets for this piece of shit? You're my mortal enemy.
a CNBC
Fucking bald ass.
conference, so the audience here is more so investors.
He
And
doesn't even have pupils. He's a dark-souled lizard creature. He just steals money from bands and fans. Look at the void in those eyes right there. You just see dollar signs. And the souls of concert fans are broke.
And obviously, this is a publicly traded company. If you look at their stock price, it has skyrocketed over the last several years.
Everyone super chat enough for this channel. I will buy as much stock in Live Nation as I can. I will take it over like Elon did for Twitter. And I will throw the kitchen sink at him. And I will slice all of the fees.
Years as concert demand has been surging. And I think the main criticism of Live Nation is that it's nearly impossible to compete with them. After all, they own Ticketmaster, so they handle the ticketing. They own a massive number of concert venues of all different sizes in the US. So this is definitely something that has sparked a lot of conversation with concert goers. Without a doubt, Live Nation has done an amazing job with putting on live events. Their venues
No, I haven't. They got rid of all the other people who would be able to do it as well. If they allowed other competition, others would do it better for cheaper.
are very nice, but the
Just because they have the monopoly on car washes and they're the only car wash you can get does not mean they're the best. It means they're the only one.
main criticism here, as they are the company that owns Ticketmaster, it remains a massive concern for concert goers, pricing, affordability. It's a tough market right now, not just for the fans, but
Godzilla's going straight to his motherfucking house.
also for touring artists.
That is not an actual threat. That is a joke. Don't be. This is not a Hassan moment. I'm not a fucking idiot.
With cost to tour skyrocketing. So obviously, let me know what you all think about this down in the comments. As millions of fans out there definitely
I think he's a cunt. That's my opinion. What do you all think? Fuck Live Nation, dude. Live Nation Ticketmaster has always been a problem. How did the comments show up on the screen? How did I do that? What? You guys can be famous or not famous. Brian keeps sounding as unbiased as possible. He needs time to say it's not right what they're doing. Is Brian the name of Rockfeed dude? Yeah, that's his whole thing, is that he's unbiased and he just gives the facts up, which I appreciate. I respect that. You know, he doesn't have to get. Whenever he does start to give his opinion, he leaks a little bit here and there, but he's always very balanced. Rockfeed gets a lot of hate, but he never censors anyone, so I give him credit for that. Yeah, I've got no issue with Rockfeed at all. I just always let people know, like, he focuses on more of the mainstream side of metal stuff usually, but besides that, I like his channel. I think he does good shit. Kinky Sizemore, have you seen the retarded prices for WrestleMania next year? I want to know why they've increased by a factor of 10 since WrestleMania 30. I can imagine they're insane. My guitarist was saying that when he's gone to it, it's like fucking close to $2,000 or some shit like that. Tar and feather him. We need to bring back tar and feathering. This is one of my first changes when I take over power of the country. We're bringing back tar and feathering. It's not violent. It's not fatal, but it works. Keep the comments on the screen. I'll get in trouble. Did you see or talk about the latest band updates for Sonic Temple? Yeah, we went over that a little bit earlier. Pretty all right. Pretty all right. Public humiliation works. I support this for all of Ticketmaster. Anyway, fuck that dude. God. There could be a whole long video on how evil Live Nation Ticketmaster are. In other news, couple of things. Here's a video that I pulled up a bit ago. Where am I at? Close some of these things I'm not actually going to go over. Some of them are repeat things too. Like an article will have a different headline, but it's the same interview. This video popped up by a channel called Vervis. I am unfamiliar with them. I think they, if I'm not mistaken, I think they might have commented on some of my videos before, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm busy dying. This is why you hate modern metal. This popped up on my feed. I thought it could be interesting. Go check out the original video. Give it a like. And let's see if it explains why I don't like modern metal. Probably because it's shit and overprocessed and too mainstream sounding. I was going to actually watch this after the stream. Now you're going to watch it here. Get 2 birds down. Look at that. Varvis has some hot takes here and there, like being a Lars fan, but I like his channel. That's the hot take you can think of. I feel like there's plenty of other hot takes if you're referring to my channel. Anyway, let's see what he has to say.
Well, hello, my friends. We meet again. It's been a while. Where should we begin? Octane core is a derisive term used to describe when a band, usually of the metalcore variety, makes music designed to appeal to listeners of the satellite radio station Octane. Now, this radio station Octane is usually just used as a metaphor to represent people are on the periphery of metal, I guess.
AI created metalcore. You could play it for hours. No one would notice the difference.
You could say, right? Quote unquote, more normies, I suppose you could say. Essentially, Octane is just like an alternative metal station.
Parkway Drive is one of the bands on this list that I would see live because I've heard their shows are insane. They have pyro and spinning drum sets and shit. I'm a huge sucker for that. I don't listen to their music at all, but I would enjoy getting the chance to see them live. They all sound the same. I hate that. That is the exact type of vocals I can't fucking stand. Happy for certain. Didn't get my homework finished. You feel like a burden. If you really want to change, we I swear these all come out of a fucking processor.
But to me, viewing the shift in sound of a lot of metalcore is very
It's like going to get fast food. And it's all the same with a different label on it.
Shallow and myopic view on this phenomenon, which has been going on for probably around a decade or so. And I think the main distinction really comes down to what is the main focus and hook of the songs. Is it the riffs or is it the vocals? So let me break it down like this for you guys. I will be picking on the band Architects, Metallica, and In Flames today, not only because they are some of my favorite bands of all time, but because I also happen to really enjoy their more vocally focused, or I guess in the sense of Architects, octane core sounding albums. So let's get into it here. In metal and by and large hardcore, but this video is centered around metal because that's what I like, I would very scientifically peer-reviewed studies say that the distinction of hooks that the song is built upon, right? The hook, that is the thing that captures your ear, which you come back to listen to, right? In metal is at minimum 50-50 split of riffs and vocals being the main hook. Here we will also
I think it depends on the person. I always like asking people when you're listening to music, which instrument is the one that grabs your attention the most? Because I find it's different for everyone. You know, what draws you to being a drummer or a vocalist or a guitarist? Not even AI can shit out how generic modern metal is correct. Metalcore is one of my favorite types of music. You're probably not going to like a lot of my opinions here. Honest to Lemmy, this is why I say that the 80s, 90s, and 2000s are the golden eras of metal. It had passion, balls to it, with memorable songs and albums. I believe I would agree. Clean vocals absolutely suck.
Count breakdowns and solos as riffs for the purposes of this video. I would say that in metal, it's easily a 50-50 split of focus, and that is sort of like the bare minimum that I think a lot of metalheads enjoy. And depending on the band and genre, I would say the split can go even like 60-40 riffs, or even like 80-20% riffs for more of the really riff-dependent genres and bands, such as like melodic death.
It depends entirely on the person. Like, a band can be fucking amazing music-wise, but if I don't like their vocalist, it's an instant no for me. I cannot get past a vocalist that I wouldn't be able to stand. But other people, they could, because they'd focus on the music, the guitars. But I think what he's trying to talk about is the thing that, if you're not a fan, put it on first listen, and what would likely be the first thing that would grab a more normal person's attention. What's the band going to focus on as like the hit thing that gets attention in the song?
Death metal or like thrash metal, right? Those are all very riff focused genres, right? The riffs are what you come for, and the riffs are what you stay and come back and listen to, right? The vocals are almost sort of added, not as like an afterthought, but as more of like a texture thing to.
Wrong, at least for me. See? Vocals can make a boring sounding song musically sound a lot better if you're creative.
Communicate words.
But that's me. Other people don't pay attention to vocals at all.
Feelings associated with these riffs, right? The riffs, regardless, metal riffs are what you tune in for.
And he brings up metalcore.
Pick it up!
They all sound the fucking same, dude. I swear to God. It's not just me, right? It's like the quality of the production, I can immediately tell, is going to lead to music that I don't like. The quality is, good. The levels are fine. It doesn't sound raw. It's too processed. And that makes me be like, all right. In my opinion, it sounds like another soulless breakdown. Nothing really inspiring or to grab you. For me, that's what I hear. If you like the music, I'm not shitting on that at all. I'm telling you what is coming through my head.
Now, pop music is almost 100% vocally focused, right? In pop music, the singing, the words that are being communicated are what you come to listen for, and the background instrumentals are sort of just the canvas upon which the vocals are painted upon, right? In metal, it's very different, right? You stay for the instruments and you stay for the riffs most of the time, right? And so when bands go octane core,
Unless it's a drum solo, then you go get another beer.
they change their split of riffs. Let's say there were 60 to 40% riffs before, and they swing their baseline of focus to be much more vocally centered, right? You want the vocals to be the highlight, right? In a very sort of like pop sounding way, but that's not a bad thing inherently, right? I would say a lot of octane core bands, probably more like 40 to 60% vocals. Some even going higher, like Bad Omens, you could probably even say they're like 90, 10%, right? Vocals. A lot of people call this phenomenon.
Get the fuck out of here. That's why I hate modern metal, because it sounds like that.
Core bands do this, octane core, but previously people would call this quote unquote
no whining in metal,
selling out in a very vicious and poisonous way to say it, right? This is how they would say a band switched from riffs to vocals. And I would say that this shift in priority of the song is what really turns off a lot of the more traditional metal crowd, right? As it seems that one of the primary distinctions between metalheads and I guess you would say normies, right, is that metalheads are here for the riffs. Of course, you're probably here for some of the vocal hooks, and that's why it's not 100% riffs, right? You also want some vocal hooks, right? But metalheads want riffs in general. People who like pop.
Depends what you mean by vocal hooks. I do not want a whiny chorus with sounds like an emo kid crying, like you've been showing for all of these bands. There's some really great choruses though. Like melodic death metal does it well. But that is what grabs me when I'm listening to metal or music, is the vocals, the power of it, the kind of energy and atmosphere that it adds to the music.
Pop music like vocals, right? Vocals are the communicator of words and thus easily digestible emotions and feelings associated with music. But for those of us baptized in the metal holy water, so to speak, we also like riffs and view these as essentially equals in terms of interest and the way that they communicate emotions and feelings and expressions, right? So I hope this is all making sense so far. People who like metal like riffs and view them as equal to vocals, but pop, octane core, whatever you want to call it, the focus is more or less completely on the vocals. Now,
So you're saying that metal fans like metal and don't like whiny pop shit. That makes sense.
I did say I would pick on Architects, and don't worry, we will. But the most successful, quote unquote, selling out or going octane core of all time,
Metallica,
would of course be Metallica, right? And Justice for All and the Black Album released just over 3 years apart, but the change in focus of the music could not be more apparent. And Justice for All still has catchy vocal moments, right? Don't get me wrong, but I would say that it is much, much, much more riff focused than the Black Album. It's probably like 70 to 30% for riffs, right? And even a song like One, which is the most vocally focused song probably on that album, right, is still like 60 to 40% riffs. Then just a few years later, Metallica would release the Black Album, which of course we all know would go on to be the biggest metal album ever, and even one of the highest selling albums ever, period. And why was this? Well, of course they quote unquote sold out, as any BO smelling, camo short wearing, intensely loyal to the riff metal diehard would say. However, I would counter that and maybe make a more cohesive argument that they simply
where the hot takes coming in, people are warning that he's a Lars fan.
changed where the focus of the music lies. The Black Album still has tons and tons of great riffs, right? Don't get me wrong. But the main hooks of this album is the vocals. It's a much more vocally focused
vocal melodies
album. I would say it's easily more of like a 40 to 60% split in vocals here, maybe even a bit more skewed towards the vocals in some songs, right? It is clear that the vocals and the words being spoken are for the most part what draws the listener into these songs, right?
I think that's a pretty fair assessment, comparing older Metallica to that.
You don't tune in to the Black Album for the riffs. You tune in for the great choruses and great singing, right? It's this change in focus that I believe alienates.
I don't know about great singing. You turn into it for the singing.
It's a lot of the people who like riffs more, traditional metalheads, I guess you could say. But because they couldn't really find a very cogent or coherent argument as to why they didn't like this new change in sound, they simply just say they sold out, right? They went pop, which essentially, right, they just changed the focus from a more metal split in focus to a more pop, vocally focused split. I think a large reason why this focus changes is twofold here. Let's move back to metalcore away from Metallica. So yeah, first you get like a small taste of success, right? A band releases a couple albums, some of the songs get popular, and it's usually the most vocally driven song, right? This leads the band to chase more of that. And why not? Why not give the audience what it wants? Well, of course, getting more success, notoriety, and of course, money also helps, right? I think this happens around the same time, third album or so, these bands are introduced to producers through their record labels, usually have a small or even large.
That's when it gets all corporate-y, and you got to get more mainstream sounding, more whiny melodic vocal rhythms.
Role in the band's sound. You usually have an ear more tuned to a more quote-unquote traditional, like vocally focused style. I also think that success breeds relative comfort for these bands, right?
I also think none of these bands I would consider actual metal. We're talking my view of modern metal bands of modern times are like Frozen Soul, Crypta, Canon and Feebed, everything that I put in that video. These bands I would understand putting under a new term of modern metal. Like I was saying, new metal, alternative metal. I feel like there should be a term called modern metal where you put all of these bands into, because I would never go up to someone completely unfamiliar with metal and go, yes, this new Bring Me the Horizon album is a good representation of what metal music is. It's very clearly not. It's like modern metal, I think, is starting to become a new subgenre, which is a good way to put all these whiny, annoying motherfuckers in a box and put them in a corner.
Maybe the band isn't so destitute financial anymore. That eases a lot of stress for a lot of people. The bands, they also get older. Maybe their music taste changes as well. Feelings sort of begin to soften. You become more of like a more rounded person, right? All these things add up and combine to produce people who are simply just not as angry anymore. I hesitate to say
lame,
not as hungry, because that burning hunger for success can simply shift aim. But, if you are, 30 years old, maybe you have a kid and a family, decent paying music job, you're simply just probably not as angry as you were when you were 21, broken single playing in a band, right? So you don't want to just write all these crazy riffs and all these breakdowns. You want to do something better and bigger. And that
means whiny, boring, alternative pop sounding music. It doesn't mean opening up to more creative concepts in your lyrical writing. I'm not like trying to shit on Varvis, or I'm not like arguing with him. I'm just giving my retort to. It's kind of an indication that, like, as a band gets bigger, more successful, naturally they'd go into this softer, more alternative style, which I don't think is the only way for bands to go, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Most of the time involves vocally focused songs. And that is not necessarily a bad thing, right? And this, of course, is to say nothing at all about pressure from record labels to chase higher numbers, which is like another video topic altogether. Go back and look at all these bands which went octane core or pop, whatever you want to call it, right? And you will see a lot of these commonalities, right? Bands have been established for a while. Maybe they're sort of like in that middle tier bands. They want to move to that next level, right? So they simply move to a more vocally focused product because that's how they know where they will reach more people. Of course,
God. This is a video about modern metal. This is the face of modern metal.
Also have to stress and say that there's nothing inherently
metal about any of these images I'm seeing. What the fuck is going on here?
Wrong with having
Imagine your friends like, hey bro, do you want to come to a metal? You just got back from the army, man. You've been overseas and you're back here in America. Let's go to a metal show, man. You let some energy out. And you're like, oh fuck yeah, man. I haven't been to a metal show in forever. I used to love seeing Cannibal Corpse and Obituary and Slayer and everybody. Oh yeah, let's go to the metal show and have an awesome time. And you see these clean, short hair, pedo stash motherfuckers whining about their homework, all playing different songs at the same time. You know what I mean?
Vocally focused.
I think that's my main problem. I don't care. I don't have a problem with people liking these bands, being into this type of stuff. But I think when people are like, this is what metal is, this is what the future of metal is, I'm like, no, no, no. No, it's not. It is some other lame thing that has sprinklings of metal on it. It does not make it metal.
Just metal. So my favorite metal ever made is very vocally focused. Looking at you, power metal. And I love country.
Way different. That is way different. Power metal is definitely as focused on the riffs as it is the vocals.
Music, along with my fair share of pop, which is like entirely vocally focused, right? Let's take a look at another band that was always been accused of selling out and becoming quote unquote pop, which of course here just means vocally focused. And that of course would be the band In Flames. In Flames definitely had a slower and more gradual shift, I think you could say, than a lot of other bands. But if you were to take an album like The Just a Race, right, which let's be honest is probably like 10% riffs, to be honest, right? It's very, very riff focused. And then compare it to an album like Come Clarity 10 years later, it is very, very obvious that Come Clarity is a more vocally focused song. And just because you liked something a band did, which is much more riff focused, does not mean you're going to like something that's more vocally focused, right? You might like another band that's more vocally focused, but that's because you like that particular singer or whatever they do, right? Just because a band does one thing and then they
I've not seen any metal yet.
change to do another thing doesn't mean that you have to like that new thing, right? This is really a quote unquote problem for bands who have most of their vocals focused on harsh vocals, which a lot of 2010s metalcore was, right? The main vocals were harsh, right? Clean vocals, in addition to having words and rhythm, also contain melody. Melody, which is something that
You can have melody with harsh vocals.
harsh vocals do not contain. So
That's bullshit.
harsh, right? Clean vocals, in addition to having words and rhythm, also contain melody. Melody, which is something that harsh vocals do not contain. So
That's not true.
writing very catchy, vocally focused, harsh vocal songs is just much more inherently difficult, right?
Apparently, if you're a metalcore fan, because melodic death metal bands do it all the time. It obviously doesn't sound as operatic and, or anything, but you can absolutely do growls and harsh vocals in a melodic way. When you're matching up with the sounds from the guitars and everything. Instant dislike to his take. I'm really not hating on this dude at all. I'm just pointing out some disagreements.
It's not impossible. A lot of bands have done.
And it's clear like he's obviously more metalcore focused and power metal, you said, but than I am.
Great sounding, very vocally focused, hooky, harsh vocal songs, right? But it's a lot easier to just introduce clean vocals. And I think that is one thing that octane core bands usually do that turns a lot of people off, is introducing harsh vocals. Maybe not done all that well.
They're not fucking creative at all, is what you're saying. Let's go the easy route.
Well, or maybe like way overly produced in a sense, right? I think In Flames, this is a big problem with In Flames that a lot of people
Metal as fuck.
had, right? They introduced
Metal as fuck.
clean vocals and they just didn't really like Anders' clean singing, right? And you can like whatever you like, right? But obviously it was successful for them, but for people who like the more riff focused stuff, it's just sort of not their thing.
I mean, I guess, but did people really get into metalcore because of the riffs? It seems they were more into it for like breakdowns.
And one last thing I want to point out that I think makes people sort of roll their eyes at a band when they go in a new direction and become octane core is this sort of like half-assed or half-hearted sort of obligatory heavy moment or breakdown, right? There are tons and tons of these examples out there. Sort of just feels like the band knows that they're expected to be heavy in a part. So
I am so not impressed with breakdowns because you can tell like that it's meant for the TikTok moment of it's Like, breakdowns are cool the way Dimmu Borgir does it, where they have orchestras going over it to make it work and sound more epic. I'm not impressed at all with any core band just doing a typical you're like, okay.
So they just sort of fart out a breakdown.
Yep. Whiny intro, fast riff with harsh vocals, whiny singing, melodic chorus, repeat, breakdown, whiny chorus, outro. That's every modern metal song.
Inspired. So, yeah, there you go. Here's your breakdown. You know, often it also consists of like not screaming or regular harsh vocals, but the vocalist or singer will like sing something or shout something. And then after it is recorded, they will just manually distort the vocals. I, for one, really kind of dislike this.
Wait, what? What did you say?
The vocalist or singer will like sing something or shout something. And then after it is recorded, they will just manually distort the vocals. I, for one, really kind of dislike this. Not only does the after distorted vocal.
What?
And tons of these examples out there. Sort of just feels like the band knows that they're expected to be heavy in a part. So they just sort of fart out a breakdown, uninspired. Say, oh, there you go. Here's your breakdown. You know, often it also consists of like not screaming or regular harsh vocals, but the vocalist or singer will like sing something or shout something. And then after it is recorded, they will just manually distort the vocals. I, for one, really kind of dislike this. Not only.
That sounds like the lamest shit I've ever heard. If I'm hearing you correctly, I might be wrong. You're saying that some metalcore vocalists shout something normally in the studio and then use effects to make it sound like harsh vocals? I can't tell if that's what he's saying or something similar to that, but that would be lame as fuck if people do that. When my band plays shows and we're sound checking and everything, they usually ask, do I want any effects or reverb or anything on my vocals? I'm like, no, just straight, nothing.
He does the after distorted vocals, usually sound terrible, but the breakdown often just feels sort of out of place, and they probably move on from it too fast, right? Because they got to get back to the vocals, because that's where the focus is, right? You can't have too much focus on a breakdown. I don't know, just sort of feels very phony. I'd rather band just not do it if they're just not going to do it well, I guess, right? So let's get back to Architects here. To me, like the poster boys of that Octane Core shift in sound. And that's not to say like I don't like their Octane Core stuff. In fact, I really liked For Those Who Wish to Exist and The Sky, the Earth, and All Between. I'm not a big fan of Classic Sins of Broken Spirit, but Architects really were a very riff-focused band, especially through the 2010s when their series of albums, like the Holy Trinity of Metalcore, I like to call it, right? Lost Forever, Lost Together, All Our Gods Have Abandoned Us, and Holy Hell. Those are all very riff-focused and breakdown-focused albums.
Sounds like every metalcore song.
Of course,
was that not the exact same fucking thing? Am I tripping?
Have their vocal focus moments, right? Gone with the Wind is a really good example of that. Royal Beggars, that's another example of a very vocally focused song. That song in particular sort of set the template for, I think, a lot of the Octane Core sound, right? But by and large, those three albums are very vocally focused. Then when you move on to 2020s, For Those Who Wish to Exist, that's when the main shift comes, right? It shifts to being much more vocally focused, focusing right on Sam Carter and his
Get ready for some whiny vocals.
Great singing voice. What a better person to put the real spotlight on, you know what I mean?
I am a fucking wizard.
But it's like this shift in focus that I think really drove a lot of the fans who were a fan of that previous sound away. They were there for the riffs, the breakdowns, the blez, and instead you get a song.
Sometimes being able to recognize patterns is really fucking annoying. It makes everything just be so typical and unimpressive.
Like Dead Butterflies or Meteor, right? Which is all centered on the vocals. That's not to say those songs are bad. I love Dead Butterflies. I think that's one of the best songs that Architects ever put out. But to me, I can definitely see why, if you were a metal fan and you liked your riffs, you liked your breakdowns, this come out all vocally focused, you might not like it as much. Now, classic Symptoms of Broken Spirit, I think, is sort of like when it goes too far, right? You know, you go too far away from the riffs and you kind of don't have any.
I mean, I thought all of that was pretty garbage. I mean, I think he's explaining metalcore and modern metalcore decently enough. I just take disagreement in when that's considered like what metal is overall. Like when I made my video on my top 20 best current metal bands, I was getting a lot of comments from people saying, wow, a best metal bands video that actually has metal bands in it and doesn't have the typical Bad Omen, Spirit Box, Sleep Token, blah, 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 blah. No, I just don't like it. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing too. Sometimes people ask me my opinion on a certain metalcore band or if I would give this band a shot, and a lot of times I'm like, I know I don't like metalcore, so even if they're considered one of the best in the genre, I'm probably just not going to like it. I mean, I give everything a shot. I'm not saying I immediately hate it, but I do assume I won't be impressed. See, when I think melodic bands, I think Hypocrisy and Omnium Gatherum, Dark Tranquility, earlier Arch Enemy. We need a dental core band. If metal needs anything, they need dental core. Go on tour with Goodalox. It'll be great. Mirka combines ethereal clean vocals with black metal shrieks. I like the ethereal clean vocal sound. I don't like the whiny kid in high school sound. Like the band Jade, they're death metal with very atmospheric, and they have a vocalist who sounds like he's singing from really far away. And I do like that. That sounds awesome. It's that type of clean singing. I'm catching up with comments if I missed anything. Oh, fuck. I have some tolerance. A lot of prog has metalcore influences these days, but the auto-tune pop punk crap can fuck off. Yeah, I agree. I can dig Electric Callboy because they're meant to be more humorous. So, like, Electric Callboy is a style where if their songs were dead serious, I'm sure I wouldn't like them. But since they have more funny, entertaining stuff, I can get into that. Thank you for watching the video with me. You're welcome. That's what friends are for. Cattle decap goblin vocals are the closest to clean vocals I get. That's a pretty crazy style. How about something fun real quick before we get into more fun stuff, actually? Let's do a silly Loudwire video just because. Something to laugh at. So, if you guys saw, Guar was in the news recently for dumb clickbait reasons. And that will be my segue into this. Loudwire posted a video yesterday. Try not to laugh at these 10 hilarious, odorous Dave Brocky moments. Shall we? So, as we're watching this, if anyone laughs, you owe me $100. Those are the rules. I'll make them up.
Okay, this Dave Brocky guy, me. He seems to be linked with you quite a bit.
So this is actually odorous drunk. This is clever.
And I'm not really sure how I get away with this. What's keeping you from coming over here and strangling the life out of me?
I don't know, Brocky. Something about you, I've decided to keep you around. It's kind of like Hannibal Lecter and Clarice, you know? It's like the world is a more interesting place for me with you in it. For now.
I'd like to know, do you have any advice for young artists who are just getting started, in showbiz.
Give up. Don't do it. Showbiz sucks. It's a parasitical, vampiric kind of society where basically, unless you have a famous dad, you're
This is Dave
That was all truth.
Brocky. I am Otis Rungus of Guar's personal butt boy and weapons and armor assistant. And the master has been kind enough to shed some of his accoutrements so we can take a look at them and see what these things are all about. First thing we've got here on the block, these are Otis's deadly shoulder pads. They're a weapon in themselves, designed with like spiky sword things to like.
How do you get the idea to start Guar? Like, think back to a time when there was not a Guar. How does that idea come to mind?
Impale dead babies on and stuff. Sometimes not even dead babies, but babies that are still alive. And he wears these and hurts things with them. They protect his shoulders.
Okay, next page. This is riveting shit. I swear to God, it's like I'm reading a Clive Cussler novel. A brush and a comb and a bowl full of mush and a quiet old lady who was whispering hush. Everybody wondered when we would get a new album from Bush. Except me, they suck. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, next page. Get over here. Page. All right, here we go. Next page. Good night, room. Well, that's it for that? Good night, room? Good night, room. Good night, room. What kind of kid lives in a room like this? Nobody I know. Maybe some rich brat here in Manhattan whose dad runs this place. I don't know.
Kid has his own fireplace in his room. That's dangerous as shit.
Oh, I didn't live in a room like this. I was born into a gladiatorial arena. Good night, light and red balloon. Good night, bear. Good night, chairs. You can see how this is working up to a blistering conclusion.
Oh, if it was Justin Bieber, there'd be an army of shrieking 14-year-olds that would tear down the walls of the prison and bust him out of there.
I remember that when Randy Bly was arrested in Czech Republic.
Sony calls up the president. Oh, Mr. President, we got to get Justin Bieber out. Record sales are going down. He's like, send in the Marines. Everyone would love him. His re-election would be assured.
Dave Brocky is the singer for Richmond's famous theatric metal band Guar.
Slam dancing has been established for so long now that everybody knows the rules. No one's
It's so weird to hear that voice not coming out of a giant alien creature.
surprised when they see it anymore. Randy's obviously being accused of something by people who understand nothing about what's going on. I mean, when someone walks in off the street and sees a slam pit and a metal band like Lamb of God playing, yeah, they're going to go, oh my God. It takes 10 days for them to process a bail request. I mean, what are they working with, clay tablets or something? Let's get some pack mules and send the clay tablets over to the minister of fuddy-dudderyism. It's moving right along. Oh, and here, look, Otis took his head off for us. This is his brain. It doesn't work so good anymore, but he doesn't really need it. If he can actually take his head off and go home, what does he really need a brain for? All he's going to do is lay in front of the television, chain smoke, and masturbate.
I love the fact that he's half a Louisiana.
Spirited out of the country at great risk. Corpse of the recently deposed Panamanian dictator, Manuel Noriega.
Backstage at Guar is a weird place.
Well, how about a hit?
All right. Dave, it takes me a little more than that to get slow.
He's got the dope. He's got the dope. And he's on a rope.
What is your philosophy
Here we go.
behind all this?
Well, basically, we view the human race as scum. We are indeed from another planet, and human beings we see as food, dogs, so much, to be destroyed on stage, en masse.
Right.
They do not dislike this. Rather, they throw themselves gleefully into the jaws of death.
Yes, yes.
Everywhere you look nowadays.
Yes.
As you look on TV, you'll see people being run over by tanks, people being beaten by the police, people starving, new sexual diseases. Obviously, the human race is in love with self-destruction. We are only satisfying a consumer need.
That's right.
Now,
supply and demand.
What about children coming to your shows? You throw blood into not real blood, I hope.
Oh, of course it's real blood. What are you talking about?
No, seriously.
No, seriously. Everyone who comes to our show is ground up, and after the show, they are dragged under the stage, and tiny robotic arms take the fillings out of their teeth.
Yes.
The rest of their bodies are ground into Guar dog food. Not they drop is wasted.
Rest in peace to Otis Urungus, Dave Brocky, and Joan Rivers. Joan was fucking awesome. What the hell is happening?
The Hard Music Magazine, something for everyone. Interviews, news, and reviews. Visit hmmag.com.
That was weird.
I don't know why they replaced 8-tracks. Those things were cool. First I wanted to buy the Fine Young Cannibals. I don't know anything about this band, but I like the name. Asia! A band usually named after a geographical location usually sucks. For instance, Boston, Kansas, any other band that's got one of those. Anyway, Asia was the sole exception. This super group actually redefined the way that really lousy music was played.
You guys get inspired by your wonderful concerts as
classic. Guar on Springer.
He does.
Classic.
And they don't have his brain. They don't have his parental support. They don't have that kind of buck bringing. And they're going to go out and do that.
No? And that's what I'm trying to say to you guys. Why does it have...
This mom was trying to warn the youth of America that if you listen to Guar, you might grow a massive alien penis and go down the street ripping people in half with a dinosaur. Thank you for saving America, weird Italian mom lady.
have to be so violent?
What is more dangerous, woman? The evening news, which is chock full of the death and the war and the hatred that the governments of this world have forced onto our people. Shows like Cops, things like football people injuring and killing each other, or something like Guar that is totally making fun of all that stuff.
You broke right there. The character slipped. He forgot he was wearing a mask, and he was like, oh, shit.
Okay. All right. Hold on.
Now, times of revolution and change, there's always black humor.
Yes, there is.
No, there is not.
What cases are there?
Yeah, there always is black humor in times of change, and times of revolution. I mean, it's been all throughout history and all throughout literature.
I don't know what revolution Guar was bringing, but honestly, Guar is a lot funnier clips they could have used in that video. Guar on Springer was peak America. I think Gigi Allen on Springer was peak America. That was fantastic. Yeah. Yes, the Guar Revolution. That was my favorite. It was so successful. It would be fun to react to that whole Guar and Springer thing sometime. Anyway, would you guys like to see some footage of the show that my band played this last weekend? The Bleed for the Cause, the wrestling and metal event. That was a lot of fun. I think Peter Steele was peak on Springer. That was funny, but I mean, there's definitely way funnier ones. That would be cool, though, to do like a live watch reaction to some of those classic Springer moments or talk show ones. Good idea. Keep that in mind. Let's look at some violence for a good cause. This is the live stream I was doing during the Bleed for the Cause event. The sound is going to fucking go in and out. This part was really... If the audio was on, you could hear me say pause as this weird thing was happening. I think this was the first match that happened. But so this wrestling ring was in the middle of the crowd, so the stage is behind me holding the camera right now. Is there any way I can fast forward through this? It's the drummer for Dark Insanity. I think good part comes. We played our set, and now we're hot. And See, my mic does that. It comes in and out. I don't know why. It's weird. But we got a great moment coming up. He bounces off the door. That's a shower door, by the way. Is there any way to fast forward this? All right, it's about to get good. Watch.
I turned my camera right on time. Holy shit! I just turned my camera back too.
It's fun to have glass come flying at you. This is, I don't think I can fast forward at all. One of the matches on here was crazy violent. Someone asked if I was covering the mic. No, I wasn't. I was holding it just normally. It just goes in and out.
I had my camera on selfie, and then right as I turned it, that shit happened.
As my bass player wearing safety glasses because flying glass. Something I'm actually curious about with that show, how did it work? Was it back and forth between wrestling and bands? No, how it went, there were about 2 or 3 bands would play and then wrestling, and then I think another 2 bands played and then wrestling again, and then another 2 bands. That's the way they were doing it. I honestly would have liked if there was wrestling while we were playing. That would have been cool. Behind us on the screen, they were showing wrestling clips, and there were sometimes I would turn around and just see what was playing on it. It's hard to hold this phone. Yeah! We've had so many shower doors and keyboards and TVs. What? Oh shit, here we go. What? Go that way. I've never been a big wrestling fan. I don't watch it regularly, but whenever I've gone to underground wrestling stuff, they're so much fun. It's insane. Hang on. Later on in this clip, if I could fast forward it, I'd show you there's a fight between these 2 big guys that was bloody as fuck. It's on here, but it's like 15 minutes into the stream. I'm not going to play the whole thing. There was no Raja Jackson happening this night, thankfully. Everyone left alive, as far as I know. Anyway, if you want to see this whole thing, it's like 30 minutes long. It is on my Instagram. There were way more insane fights. They were breaking doors and tables, TVs. They had like, I don't know if they were firecrackers or some type of explosive thing that they would hit in each other's head. And it sounded like a gunshot went off. It was freaky when it first happened. Well, I'll cut to my band in a moment. So you could pay thousands of dollars to see celebrities do this from the nosebleeds, or you could pay like $20 to go see death metal bands and wrestling right in front of your face. There's glass. You saw blood right there. Jesus fucking Christ. This stream's getting age restricted. Yeah, there's like chunks of glass here. Anyway, so yeah, the wrestling there was a lot of fun. Later on, they had a 4-person ladder match. Craziness. But if you would like to see my band's performance, we can do that right now. So, Vulgar Display Gaming, this is the channel run by the man who put on this event. Awesome dude. Check out his channel. And he streamed from multiple different angles. This is actually really well done. All the band sets, including mine. We did a 30-minute set. And you can enjoy that right now, if you would like. Let's watch together, shall we? And you can see how much I suck in real life.
What's up, everybody? Load up some early death metal. We're talking sanity. This is Servant of the Slaughter. Servant of the Slaughter.
Might be. I wonder if it sounds better for us. I do like the wrestling behind us.
Sword of the War. I go to the God. For now, long and loyal.
Wait, someone asked, 30 minutes, that would have been a workout. How do you keep your vocals in check? I actually, earlier in this stream, went over a bit on how to do vocals, how to do them properly without blowing your voice out or anything. The problem is not doing the vocals. The problem is just kind of keeping up the energy. I think by the 3rd or 4th song in this set, I pulled some muscle in my shoulder. So for half of it, I was like, all right, force yourself to be energetic. And then I was like, ow, it hurts a lot. You guys know this song. Got really good footage. Facts. I promise to pay myself for the copyright strike. I want to always have wrestling playing while we're on stage.
What the fuck is up?
You can hear people
Bleed for
a
the
little
cause.
bit. It sounded louder when we were there, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't like fully packed, I'm not gonna lie to you, but and also it's only okay to wear your own band's merch when you don't have any other merch available.
Thank you all for showing up. We are Dark Insanity. We are very excited to be here. We love metal and violence and charity. This place has got everything for us. Thank you for coming out early, checking us out, checking out some other bands, getting ready for the first fight, I should say. Let's keep it moving. This next song is about how everything kind of sucks. It's called Rot!
I'm pretty good for recording, actually. This is a fact. Thank you, Mr. Dark Bear. Appreciate that. Our drummer's great. Thank you, John. I appreciate that comment. We'll be working on an album soon. We have almost an album's worth of material. We are recording a new single this weekend, though. There will be a new Dark and Sandy song coming out very, very soon. Hell yeah. That venue is really cool. I think this is when I already pulled something because I seem to be moving slower.
Fuck yeah!
Got a bit louder.
You guys having a good?
A little bit. Someone asked who did your artwork for Rapid Psychosis. It was a local artist that our guitarist knows. Honestly, don't know. Don't remember their name, but it was on. If you look on there, it's on there a little bit. It was some local person that our guitarist knows, but they did a great job. I was really happy with it.
Good time so far? Fuck yeah, it's about to get even better. I gotta say, this is probably the best background we've had while we're playing so far. This next song is a very slow, soft song. It's something of a ballad. You can slow dance to it. It's definitely not fast or has blast beats at all. It's called Technological Terror.
This is the song we will be recording for a single this weekend. It won't be released this weekend. It will be released very soon, but it's being recorded this weekend. I love the wrestling behind us. It fits very well with the music. John says, we'll have to finish some writing before bed. Saw you live and thought it would be rude not to join for the first time. Later, blow the studio away. Shout out, man. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hope you had fun. Where is the pit? The real pit are the friends we made along the way.
I may have lied about that last song. That song is called Technological Terror. We are going to record it soon as our new hit single. Coming at you very soon. Up next is the title track of our debut EP. You can find it on Spotify, all those platforms that don't pay us anything. But you can still hear us. Oh shit, I lied again. That's this next song. The next song is called
The Order.
No whiny vocal melodies, is there? Do you see how they all look today? Do you see how we all look like we listen to metal? Definitely already pulled my shoulder at this point. They did such a good job at filming this. I'm really impressed. This was all live streamed too. It wasn't edited later.
Fuck yeah!
Shout out Duncan McLovin. Thanks for tuning in. Take care, man.
Fuck yeah!
I think we had 2 more songs in our set.
So just means we're getting a little bit steamy in here. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you for coming out and checking us out. Huge shout out to Shane for setting this whole event on for good cause. Awesome shit.
I promise there's more people than it sounds.
All right, now is the song that I said we were going to play before.
Rabid Psychosis!
Rabbit psychosis. And remember, you can come see us October 16th at the Whiskey A Go Go with Carnivore AD. Hang on, the song's almost over.
Fuck yeah!
Yeah. Title track of our debut EP. Sup Doggy said, we'd love to see you guys live, but I live in Texas. When are those coming? At some point in the very near future, I might move to Texas. Maybe we'll see. I'm trying to get out of California, so that would obviously make it easier to play shows in Texas. We want to play everywhere. It's just a means of making it actually happen. Substitute Metalhead said, have you seen Anthony Fantano's response to Ronnie Radke on YouTube? No, I hadn't watched those yet. I actually was wanting to and wanted to do a reaction to him. I figured I'd give him his moment to shine, I guess, on his bald head. But I didn't watch him yet, but I've been meaning to. It's one of those things where I'm like, I've had shit to do. When I find a moment, I did actually want to watch it and react to it, but haven't done it yet. Come over to Florida. That's definitely a high possibility. I'm very comfortable and familiar with Florida. Let's do the last song in my band set, shall we?
All right, thank you guys. Once again, we are Dark Insanity. Check us out on all the socials. Bad news is we got one more song for you. Good news is afterwards you get to watch people beat the shit out of each other. Right? I'll take that deal. This last song is called
Phantom Tyrant!
It's weird to watch footage of myself on stage.
You
Yeah, we'll see, like I said.
Fuck yeah! Lead for the cause! You guys have been fucking awesome, thank you! We are Dark Insanity!
Fuck yeah! We are Dark Insanity. Thank you for checking us out.
Let the violence begin!
Hey, turn off. No, stop it. Don't get copyright me, goddammit. Huge props to them for getting such a good live stream with different like clips and everything. That was all available online as we were performing. It was such a good job. Was there a band discussion about ending the set with someone getting powerbombed through a table? We did joke that we should have had some type of like fake wrestling thing planned, but no, of course not. But if we were cooler, we would have done that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Obviously, sounds a little more intense when you're there in person than the recording, but I thought that was a very good job. We were happy with the show. We got to watch people fight each other afterward. Ah, fuck. Anyways. I believe that's pretty much everything that I had to cover. on this episode today. I did like the comment calling Canadian syrup chuggers. That's very funny. That's an insult I'll be using from now on. But yeah, with that said, I think that covers pretty much everything for this episode of the Wyatt's Metal Podcast. I have a bunch of videos up. I just did one on the Guar fake internet drama. I did one on people having meltdowns on stage and something else. I'm not sure what my next big, like, top whatever countdown video will be yet. I have a couple ideas written down, but I'll sort through them and figure one out. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Come check out my band Dark Insanity at the Whiskey A Go Go on October 16th, opening for Carnivore AD. Either hit me or the band up for tickets, or if you go there in person, tell them you came there for Dark Insanity. It will help us out a lot. We would appreciate it. And yeah, check out my music on Spotify, Bandcamp, all the things. And I will have a new video up real soon. And now take it away, Norm.
Now, this might strike some viewers as harsh, but I believe everyone involved in this story should die.